In this episode, we're going to talk about that the people in boxing need to respect the fight fans. Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Dameon Okposio. Thanks for tuning into another episode. So we've cracked 500. You know what? In my mind, I was thinking once I got to around episode 500, I was going to take a little bit of a break from doing the show. But, I enjoy communicating with the people. I really try not to repeat myself. I'm always trying to hit new topics, do different things. And you're going to see more, actually, of our show, Do You Know Boxing, which we're going to be giving out a lot of prizes to like the general public as we ask them general boxing questions. So you're going to see a little bit more of that coming up in the near future. But in this episode, I wanted to talk, I'm always dissecting the fight game and looking at boxing against other sports and how other sports are doing it, and why are certain other sports successful and where is boxing lacking. And one of the things I've been looking at recently, especially as I go through and I read the feeds of different boxing pages, I noticed that in boxing we need to respect the fight fans a lot more. Now, first of all, it's the fight fans that are going to be shelling out $45-50 for a fight card, where people in boxing, whether because they're cheap or whether because they know the fighters, see them all the time, go to an abundance of shows, work the shows themselves, may not pay that same dollar amount to go watch something. So, whether it's someone that's a casual fan or someone coming out to see one boxing show or only goes when their family member or friend is fighting, we have to respect the fight fans. The fight fans are the backbone of not just boxing, but any sport. And so, one of the things I've seen is people within boxing, often chastising people's opinions that may not have fought before. Just because somebody hasn't fought doesn't mean that they don't know the sport of boxing. Just because somebody hasn't achieved great heights in the sport of boxing doesn't mean that they don't know boxing. Someone's knowledge of boxing strictly comes from the amount that they study the sport. So, I would say my knowledge of boxing is not just because I've competed or been involved in the game for so long, because length of time in the game doesn't also indicate that you know boxing. I believe that I know boxing because I actually study the sport. I study the people who have come before me. I've studied fighters, I study managers, promoters, and that's what allows me the confidence to be able to speak on so many different matters within the game, because I actually study the sport of boxing. There's hundreds and hundreds of examples, like Joe Calzaghe's father, who's never fought and was able to train his son to be one of the best fighters ever, retired undefeated. So it doesn't matter whether you fought or haven't fought. If you are a fan of the sport, you deserve the respect, and because you're supporting the sport, we have to be as a sport, and for the people within the sport, we have to make sure that we are not only respecting these people that are showing interest and that are supporting the sport, but helping to educate them and not educating them in a condescending, derogatory way. We want to educate them in an inclusive way, because we want more fans. We don't want the sport to be stagnant and just a little boys club. No, it has to. We want it to be inclusive. We want to, get other fans from other sports. And, just because somebody from another sport is coming and taking interest in boxing, it doesn't mean that we're stealing that fan. And somebody could be a fan of multiple sports or fan of mixed martial arts and boxing doesn't mean that we're going to be taking fans. What we have to do is make sure that when there's a fan in the sport of boxing, number one, we're educating them, and number two, we're taking care of them and appreciating them. And that's how the sport is going to continue to grow. That's how we're going to be able to build boxing. Remember, you can ask us any questions related to boxing by sending us a message through Twitter at DOKPOSIO, through email okposio@hotmail.com, and don't forget to subscribe through YouTube to get every episode of the DO Boxing Show. Hopefully this episode was informative and entertaining, and you can leave your comments in the comment section below on YouTube. Thanks again for watching this episode. We appreciate your support, and we'll catch you on the next one.